Hey guys, tonight I'm going to be breaking open a case of, oh goddamn burial, sorry. Opening a case of 1991 Upper Deck Baseball. The big cards in this set were, let's see, you got an autographed Nolan Ryan, there was only 2,500 of them, autographed Hank Aaron, Michael Jordan short pack one, two different days to remember. One that had, I think, Ernie Banks and Ricky Henderson with a date and without a date. But then you also had a day to remember that was Nolan Ryan. They were both numbered SP2, but just three different cards with the same number. The Griffey Jr., Ricky Henderson, Bo Jackson had same number, two different pictures. Nolan Ryan, Chipper Jones, Dion, two different cards. Mike Messina, Frank Thomas, Cal Ripken, Kirby, Bernie, Tony Gwynn, and others. But these are mainly the gist of the ones that, off the top of my head, that are worth the most now as of March 5th, 2024. So, without further ado, I am going to open up this box and go from there. So, we got, these are 33 years old. They are, I just opened another box a little bit ago and did a Facebook Live of it. I pulled Jordan SP1, two Mike Messina rookies, a Griffey, a Frank Thomas, and some others. But I did not pull a chipper. So I'm going to grab this and set it out front right here, and grab this and set it out front right here. And then this stack I'm going to put underneath this one. Okay. And the same thing with this one. I'm going to put it underneath this stack. So I can kind of scoot the box out of the way, move these packs to the back, and you know, this was the back, this was left, back, right back, and then down here was left front, right front. So with that, here we go. Get my glasses on real quick. All right, so we got Tim Drummond, Greg Maddux, set that up, Casey Kandale, Dwight Gooden, affectionately known as Doc. You got Bill Long, Derek May, Vince Coleman, John Kruk, Reggie Harris, and Indians. Man, that one got beat up over time. That is a rough looking hologram. Lenny Harris, Kenny Williams, Tim Nehring, Lee Smith, and a Nolan card. So we're going to set these off to the side. Find that pack that fell back here. Set it there. So I got, what I'm doing is I'm setting the holograms by themselves, the Nolans by themselves, the checklists by themselves, and the player cards separately, so I know what I've got to pull, because I'm actually doing Whatnot now, and I haven't done a stream on it yet, but I'm working on it. That's what I'm opening these boxes for, so I can have cards to sell on Whatnot, starting at like a couple dollars a piece, you know what I mean? So, see what we can do. Go from there, and these are all packed fresh, you know what I mean? And friends of mine are like, oh, you ought to open it on Whatnot and stuff like that. And I'm like, man, I want to just open it for me for right now. Let me get started, and then I'll go and figure out Whatnot on its own when I get around to it. So that was pack number one. That was a good pack, because in that last box, I didn't get a Greg Maddux or Lee Smith. So maybe this box will be better. Hey, I got a Milwaukee Brewers. I've got a Mike Messina rookie. A Ripken Jr. Bam. Then I got a Greg Vaughn, John Dobson, Jesse Orosco, National League hologram. That's cool. Pascual Perez, Ron Darling, Charlie Liebrandt, Roberto Alomar, Ken Reimer, Alan Trammell. Damn, that was a pretty good pack. Mookie Wilson, Jerry Brown, and Willie Frazier. Dang, that was a real good pack. There's 15 cards in a pack, and I pulled, hell, let's see how many cards I pulled out of this pack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Damn, that's pretty good. That'd be a hell of a pack back in the day. Back in 91, that'd have made some kids' day, because these were $1, $2 a pack, maybe a little bit more back in 1991. And I mean, Upper Deck was it until like Fleer, Flair, and all that stuff came about. This was a good, so that's the third Messina rookie that I got so far. Still have yet to pull a chipper. I watched a box break of this very box, this same brand of box, the other night on YouTube, and a guy pulled like 3 chippers and 2 Messinas, and it was a pretty good box break. But I mean, it is what it is, because most kids back when I was a kid, and growing up in the 90s, that's a Nolan thing. Brady Anderson, he was a great player. Kurt Schilling. You could only afford packs, and even then it was only like 1 or 2 packs a week, you know, at a time. Marty Barrett, Jeff Manto, the Tigers. Let's see, Matt Noakes. You got Checklist, Steve Sachs, Andy Hawkins, Mike Jackson, Travis Fryman, Mark Williamson, Billy Hatcher, Wayne Edwards. Yeah, back in the day, I mean, that's the rich kids could afford their parents to buy boxes, or if their dad went with them to buy packs, you know. My dad didn't go with me to buy packs of baseball cards. I had to go by myself. Let me set that there, and then I'll go back and put those up. Brooke Fordyce, Frank DePino, Chris Bozio, Tom Pagnazzi, Eddie Murray. Set that up. He was a great player. The Rangers, Rafael Navoa, Kevin Elster, Omar Olivares, Jerome Walton, Audubey McDowell, Joe Carter, Greg Harris, Joe Girardi, Mike Fetters. Okay. But yeah, back in the day, man, it was expensive to buy boxes, at least for kids. But there was some kids that did it. Like, there was a kid I knew growing up. He had all the Jordans. No matter when they came out, he always had them. He always had kind of the best of everything. His parents had money, and they did whatever he wanted. He got to do whatever he wanted. Not that there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I spoil my kid. Ironically, he's worn nothing but Jordans and half cabs his whole life. But that was me doing that, because I wore Jordans, and I wasn't going to let my son wear something else. If I was wearing Jordans, he was wearing Jordans. And that's one thing that me and him like doing. And he's 17 now, and he wears, going to school, he'll go out, get his outfit, and then we wear the same size now, so I don't have to buy shoes, but he goes and picks my shoes for his school wardrobe instead of wearing mine, or instead of wearing his own, he wears mine. So I guess it saved me money, so I mean, it is what it is. So, I mean, it's my kid. I want the best for him, so I do what I can. But yeah, I'm starting to do the videos and this stuff here and getting my YouTube channel going. So, but I'm gonna do cards, toys, video games, well, much everything, because I do toys, video games, comics, anything pop culture really, and I try to be a part of and have, because when I go to toy shows and stuff like that, it's fun to sell. Man, I'm getting I got one checklist, the team checklist last box. Now I got 3 so far this box. Hal Morris, Roger Salkid, Sam Horn, Carmelo Martinez, Greg Swindell, the Blue Jays, Hensley Mullins, Tom Brookins, Oscar Azokar, Jack Clark, Bill Swift, Julio Franco, Dave Gallagher, Mariano Duncan, Eric Plunk, yeah, I wish I never would have been able to get a box. And ironically, tonight this is my second box that I've opened up. I did one for a Facebook Live, and this one right here is going on YouTube. But I mean, this is something I would have dreamed of as a kid. But I mean, I'm doing it now. I'm 45 now, so hey, it is what it is. Trying to stay as young as I can for as long as I can. Funny thing was, my son was 12, and a few months after my son turned 12, my second wife, we had a daughter. So now I've got a 17-year-old and a 5-year-old, and it's pretty fun. I gotta say, it keeps me on my toes, to say the least. Let's see. Tim Costo, Dion, Mike Scott, Save Master, Tim Wallach, National League, Jeff Robinson, Mackie Sasser, Joe McGrain, Steve Finley, Jeff Treadway, Craig Lefferts, Dana Kiker, Shawan Dunston, Mike Walker. So I didn't pull a Dion in the last one, got one now, so he's actually probably, his cards have been going up steadily over the past couple years with him coaching Jackson State and then going to Colorado. Sadly, he doesn't claim FSU anymore, but I mean, it is what it is. To each his own. He actually didn't graduate at Florida State. He played and went to the pros and actually graduated from an all-black, well, historically black college, I should say. So that's his, he claims alma mater, which is all fine, well, good. But, I mean, it is what it is. I think he's pissed off at FSU for not making him the coach, but I'm a Seminole fan, and Norvell is killing it. Royce Clayton, Barry Larkin, George Bell, Mark Langston, the Engines, That's a cool card. Felix Furman, Carl Rhodes, John Tudor, a checklist. Gary Pettis, Joe Orsulak, Henry Cotto, and Tim Leary. But yeah, I've past couple weeks I've been watching box breaks and stuff like that, and that's a cool checklist. Barry Bonds. People complain, yeah, it irked me with the performance enhancing drugs, but you know what? He still hit those balls no matter what. He still got the home runs. So, I mean, he is the home run champ. I think it was, what, 770 or something like that? 773? Somewhere around there. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But, I mean, he did it, and I'm not going to complain about it. I mean, yeah, it sucked at the time, and it ruined a lot of baseball for a lot of people, because baseball for years was about athletic ability. So, I mean, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Do 2 more on this, then I'll swap over to the next one to break them down kind of evenly. I'm about a quarter of the way done with this box. Will Cordero, that's a good one. Don Mattingly, Eric Anthony, Greg Jeffries, Gary Gaetti, Tigers, and I'm pulling all of the checklists out. Kevin McReynolds, Johnny Ray, Benito Santiago, Bob Malacky, Ron Hassey, Dennis Rasmussen, Mark Guthrie, Sid Breen, and John Farrell. Pulling out all the checklists because, ironically, when you send cards off to get graded, if your checklists get graded and they come back with high grades, they're worth big bank, because a lot of times with the old cards, kids used them to actually check off who they had, and they didn't keep them pristine, you know what I mean? So but yeah, what got me back into cards recently was I was cleaning out my man cave, and I came across the 1990 Marvel Universe set. I got the 1990 and 91 set, the complete sets of both, that I didn't know when I got them, who I got them from, how long I've had them, or what. I found them in my man cave, and I was like, dang, they'd just been sitting there, and they were immaculate condition. I'm sending a majority of them to go get graded shortly. So we'll see how that goes. Darryl Hamilton, Kiki Jones, but that's what got me back into cards. Eric Davis, Julio Valera, Carlos Quintana. Sorry, I'm yawning. Texas Rangers. Greg Hibbard, Dave Steib, Joe Klink, Pedro Guerrero, Don Robinson, Brian Downing, Louis Aquino, Dave Henderson, and Mike Lacoste. Okay, I think this is the one I'm going to the next one with. Yeah, I'm going to go to the next row. But no, I was surprised I pulled that SP1 out of that last box. Maybe that's why I didn't get a chipper, but who knows. Steve Carsey, Reggie Sanders, Steve Searcy, Devon White, Matt Williams, Rick Ruschel, Engines. Now they're the Guardians. Dave Roddy, Spike Owen, Scott Coolball, Robin Yount. Famously got his ass whooped by Nolan Ryan. Jesse Barfield, Wes Gardner, Terry Shumpert, Carlos Baerga, and Dan Pasqua. Yeah, Nolan Ryan, dude, he was a tough old man. He's still alive and kicking. Hell, I bet he could still throw a heater. He could still throw some strikes. I bet he could. I bet if somebody gave him a chance, he'd lay it down. I don't know. He's getting up there in age now, so who knows? There's a Nolan right there. Larry Sheets, Mark Eichhorn, Glenn Davis, Kevin Mitchell, the Rangers, Mike Sims, John Russell, Pete Incavia, David Segui, Paul Abbott, Doug Jones, Mark Eichhorn, Corey Snyder, and Don Paul. And look at that. That sucked right there. Killed that. But, I mean, it is what it is. It happens. That's why the PSA 10s are few and far between. Because even in the pack, they get damaged. It's funny because this box is like a checklist in a team checklist in every pack, whereas there was like 3 or 4 in the other box that I just did. Gotten a couple of the Nolan Ryans, whereas the Pro Set boxes that I opened up this past week, they had subsets. Shit, I got a complete subset of each, and then the freaking extras, and then I got, Todd Van Poppel, that's money. Greg Blosser, Ted Higuera, Otis Nixon, Ron Gant for the Braves. Hey, check it out. Frank Thomas, the Big Hurt. That's actually, it's considered his rookie card because he wasn't in the 1990 Upper Deck. Moy Salou, Walt Weiss, Andre Dawson, Ted Higuera, Ken Howell, Hubie Brooks, Dave Hollins, Frank Viola, and Bruce Hurst. That was a pretty good pack right there, buddy. Yeah. Anytime you get a Frank Thomas and a Van Poppel rookie, that Van Poppel rookie, he's up there. But a majority of these guys are in the freaking Hall of Fame now, because I mean, you got to think it's 33 years since they played. So that's always a plus. I'm going to go and add all of this to my collection later tonight, and like I did past couple of nights, I did 1990 Pro Set number 1, Pro Set number 2, Series 1, Series 2 of 1990. I did the old G.I. Joe Impel trading cards. I got almost the whole set in that, and ironically missing card number 61 and 62, which were Wetsuit and Torpedo from G.I. Joe. So if anybody has those and wants to help a brother out, which I probably have them because I got a gang of Joe cards. I can go through it and check and see, but it's not a big deal. It's just something cool to have. There's a Nolan. David Segui. Terry Shumpert. Cecil. Darryl Strawberry. National League. Mickey Hatcher. Jose Oquendo. Ruben Sierra. Larry Sheets. Greg Harris. Tom Candiotti, Devon White, Joel Skinner, and Steve Lyons. This is a fairly good pack. Anytime you get a Cecil and a Nolan, even if it's a subset, still a good good pack. Dude, Cecil was such a great... There were so many similarities between him and Prince. I read something about it a while back, but they played the same amount of time, retired at the same age. I think it was same batting average, same home runs. It was weird, but I mean, it's like father, like son. So I mean, it wasn't that weird. Jeff Juden, Dan Peltier, Greg Caderet, Scott Erickson, Orlando Merced. There's a Cecil. There's a Guardian. Jimmy Key, Carney Lansford, Andres Galarraga, Chili Davis, Roy Smith, Gerald Perry, Mike Fitzgerald, Mitch Webster, and Steve Lyons. Wasn't a bad pack. And we were just talking about Cecil a second ago, and then I grabbed a Cecil. Cecil Fielder. Cecil Cecil. It is what it is. He was a freaking phenom, dude. Him and Kirby Puckett and Griffey Jr. and those were all the guys I wanted to watch when I was a kid. Loved watching them. Especially Griffey, because, dude, he was a freaking... His swing is still the best in baseball. Ever. And I'll fight anybody who says anything different. I don't care. Ken Griffey Jr. has the prettiest swing in baseball. Kyle Abbott, Kurt Miller. Still no chipper. Robin Yount. Danny Tartable. Domingo Ramos. Jim Leyritz. Tigers. John Wetland. Jeff Houston. Alvin Davis. Steve Searcy. Paul Assenmacher. Jose De Leon. Glenn Wilson. Alfredo Griffin. And Tim Drummond. Mike Lieberthal, Nolan friggin' Ryan. Yes, sir. Great. Oral Hershiser. Two great pitchers. Tom Bolton, Sid Fernandez, and the Rangers. That's ironic right there. John Smiley, Keith Miller, Tony Castillo, Dave Winfield, Gino Petralli, Wally Whitehurst, Chuck Carr, Steve Olin, Wayne Edwards. Such a pretty card, but I don't think it's going to be a 10 because there's some issues on the back. A little scratches. I don't know if you can see them, but there's like little light scratches on it, which sucks. But, I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. Roberto Kelly, Dave Statton, Ray Langford, George Brett, Andre Santana, Scott Lucidor, the Blue Jay, Jim Acker, Eric Yelding, Pete O'Brien, Jack Morris, Steve Wilson, Alan Mills, Dave Smith, Juan Samuel, and a checklist. Stack number 3. Kurt Miller, Domingo Ramos, Dennis Martinez, checklist, Tim Costo, Gary Sheffield, and a Blue Jay, Alex Fernandez, Dennis Eckersley, Kevin Tapani, Ron Gant, Joe Klink, Luis Soho, Chris Nabolts, Manny Lee, Pete Smith,